$5,000.
Or 5
It's
plus.
$59.50.
Oh, just this,
$59.50.
this re-roofing.
It is broken
Just this
down.
re-roofing service.
Right, but-
I do want to point out that that was in the original assessment that we paid for.
Yeah. No, what she's talking about now is just this line, this one line here, that says re-roofing services and restructural evaluation.
All I'm saying is that it was previously done.
And the roof
Okay.
probably should have been done 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're looking for a motion?
I'm
Okay.
looking for a motion and we can vote it down with,
Okay.
under.
A motion I'll motion to accept the re-roofing services proposal and roof structural evaluation from Studio GC for $59.50.
I'll second it.
For what?
$5,950.
Now, do you want to, I mean, yeah, we can vote on it, or is there more discussion about this previous?
Well,
Discuss it now.
And then
The
we'll
motion's
discuss
made,
it.
you discuss that.
Let's discuss the previous, do we know exactly what was on the previous assessment? Do we?
Yes.
For the roof?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has he worked on the roof, on the ceiling part since then, though? I know he did some repairs, that was prior to that.
Just patching. You mean?
They had
Patching the
been
roof,
done,
but nothing on the inside.
Interior, no.
Putting the buckets in the right place.
I think the important thing to note on the roofing is what you're hiring him for is to
Do it right.
spec out and do the engineering to make the proposed revisions and whatever needs to be done to the roof. He's also going to prepare your construction specifications, so he's gonna write the spec that needs to be part of the job, and it's part of the bid packet. So that, and then he is going to prepare the bid packet, as I understand it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
He'll
yes.
prepare your bid packet that the contractors would pick up here, probably the best place, or you know, probably the best place is here. And then in order to prepare their bid, and then part of his job, or his services, he's going to assist you with deciding on which bid to accept, and he's going to provide construction administration while the project is ongoing, which I think is very valuable to have. And then he's gonna, what we call punch list, things that aren't done to your satisfaction or his satisfaction. He's gonna be there to make sure the contractor finishes the job up properly. So there's, you're getting an awful lot of services for that $59.50 from it.
I agree with that, I think this is important that we get it done now.
Do you want to call the question? Is there any more discussion?
Well, it also includes an additional expense for outside consultants that he would use, according to the reimbursable
Right.
expenses. So it can be a great deal more.
Well, I'm not sure what he had in his mind when he said outside consultants, but
I don't either.
it's under his boilerplate reimbursable expenses, but it also specifically says is
We have to
that
approve it.
that no outside consultant will be retained unless you approve it beforehand. So in other words, it's not like you're giving him carte blanche to go out and hire an outside consultant.
Plus, the motion that we have on the table specifically says $5,950 for this project.
Yeah,
I read that
plus reimbursable
to mean
expense.
protection to himself in case he discovers problems he's not expecting. That's how I read that. That if something real unexpected comes up, that he would come to us and say, you know what, you need a consultant to deal with this as well, and then we wouldn't be right back here talking about it. That's how I read that.
And it says any costs for outside consultants shall be previously approved by the client.
Yeah.
I think we're just approving the re-roofing service.
The
The directee and the supervision of the
Not
project.
the actual roofing service, but serving as a
The structural
contractor.
evaluation.
He's
The
going to find
evaluation,
the right person.
supervision and assessment of,
Right,
Right.
that's the first step. Hopefully, the last also.
Hopefully it goes quickly, because I really don't want that roof caving in.
you mean it's over your head, the bucket? I saw that bucket, it's getting full, you better watching.
Do we
Mr.
need
Brady.
to have a motion to get more buckets?
I like that one. That one you got me on.
Oh, you have to get rid of this one first, there you go.
Any other discussion? You want to call the vote?
Okay, Mr. Goldstein,
I abstain.
Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Ms. Novick,
Yes.
Ms. Peters, yes, Mr. Albers,
Yes.
Mr. Berg,
I'll vote yes.
and Dr. Callahan.
Yeah.
The motion passes.
Consideration.
Okay, now the other part of his proposal, the main proposal, we need a motion to consider the main proposal.
It sounded to me that the director's gonna take that study and provide it to.
So we're gonna put it off until, we're gonna put it off
We're
until
gonna
he.
provide him with the study
Okay.
to see if that will impact his quote to us.
Okay,
Okay.
I think
And
that's a
if it
logical
doesn't, I
thing
would
to do.
imagine we'll be voting on it again at the next meeting, unless there's a need to have a meeting before that to get this thing
I
going.
don't see this, I mean, there's, time is always an issue, but I don't see this as necessary as the roof for one. And it seems to me that the community assessment, if that takes place before, if we're gonna approve that,
would be
because he's
good.
gonna utilize that in his assessment also.
Some of the
So-
best times to work on the library might be over the summer, though, in case you have to shut systems down and close.
Well, that's
things.
true.
We can keep the option open in a special
Yeah.
meeting if we need to do that.
Yeah, so keep that in mind
Right.
also, if
Okay.
you would, because
Well,
traffic
yeah.
goes down, it's the better time to work.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I can't take a vacation for the rest of the summer?
No.
Oh, gee. Then we're gonna put that on hold until the next, okay. We're on item C, resolution.
Actually, you
Sarah's-
have part two of.
Oh, I'm sorry,
And
we're still in
Sarah's,
B.
even though Sarah's bid was under $5,000, I wanted to bring it here anyway as part of everything. we're doing,
Right.
So,
Um,
but I would like to go ahead with her assistance in doing the focus groups and the strategic plan and the first step towards all of the other work that we're doing.
Because it's under 5,000, do we need a motion?
Well, I think the director's asking,
I'm asking your support.
essentially, she
Well, that's not the same as a motion.
You could motion to accept it
Okay.
anyhow, just to
Okay.
make it a matter of record.
Right.
Do I, let's put a motion on the floor then. Somebody,
To accept the, what do you call
proposal.
it, the proposal from Turks Cap
Turks Cap.
Consulting?
Yes.
in the amount of
460.
4623.
She's cheap, she's only 75 an
And
hour.
I will second that.
I wish I got that. Okay,
I'm sorry.
It was 4,650.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion is a proposal to accept Turks Gas Consulting.
is there any discussion about this?
So this is very key to the start of the strategic
It
plan.
is. It is.
All right.
When I read it, I got the impression that if we need more focus sessions, yes, it'll cost a little more, but that she's open to extending it if need be, if she doesn't get enough information.
And I'm hoping that we can maybe borrow some of the data the village has already collected.
Right.
And
Yeah.
look at that as well. But I think that this is actually what I asked her to quote. I felt this was enough focus groups. And so,
Yeah,
And she would start as soon as practical.
as soon as I call her and say we're gonna do it.
Okay.
okay. Do you want to call the vote?
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Novick?
Yes.
Ms. Peters, yes. Mr. Albers?
Yes.
Mr. Berg?
Yes.
Dr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Goldstein?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. The next is the resolution to set the annual non-resident fee. Mr. Tennant has already explained it to us. Is there any, can we put a motion forth? Or is the
I
resolution
move that we
considered
set
a
a
motion?
non-resident fee of $395. Or do you want the resolution to adopt?
Motion to
Adopt.
Adopt the resolution
resolution.
to adopt the non-resident.
2014-2.
2014-2.
Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Thank you. Do I hear any discussion? If not, call the vote, please.
What's the fee at?
$395.
$395.
Okay. Ms. Novick?
Yes.
Ms. Peters, yes. Mr. Albers?
Yes.
Mr. Byrd?
Yes.
Dr. Gallo?
Yes.
Mr. Goldstein?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Now we have a resolution to amend the budget to fund the RFID project, consultant contracts and capital improvements, and with it came a modification of the budget. So you'll see where the amounts of money are being assigned. Again, Frank has already discussed this. May I hear a motion to pass resolution number 2014-1 for total additional expenditures of $182,000.
And let me just say that to be generous, so that the funds are available. Doesn't mean we're going to spend that much for sure.
Anything extra, you know where it goes.
Yep.
That house you want to buy.
And that was all
Gotta get you
really
closer.
Is there,
came through that surplus
Yes.
through the last year.
Right.
is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept resolution number 2014-1
Motion
to amend the budget, 2014 budget, 2014 budget.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? If not, will you call the vote, please?
Ms. Peters, yes. Mr. Albers?
Yes.
Mr. Byrd?
Yes.
Dr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Goldstein?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Novick?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Okay, next on the agenda are two bylaw revisions. When I started looking at things and appointing committees and other stuff, I became aware that a couple of our bylaws, our bylaw committee bylaws were not adequate. The first one being section 1, there shall be standing committees as follows: executive, finance, facilities, and policy. Each committee shall be appointed or reset by the president. Each member of a standing committee shall serve 1 year and should the seat be vacated until a successor is appointed. There is nothing as to when this would take place. Therefore, to resolve this, I'm suggesting the addition of to be appointed or reset by the president at the June board meeting. The reason for the June board meeting, it would give the new president a month's time to get things started. That was the only reason behind it. I understand your concern. One way or another, though, we need to have a date in the bylaw. This is a presentation for it. This is not a voting. You get 30 days, according to the bylaws, you get at least 10 days' notice, because we won't have another meeting for 30 days. It's being presented to you for your consideration, your thoughts, your recommended changes, and it'll be voted upon at the next meeting.
I strongly recommend that it be May, and the reason for May is because of the beginning of the year, but also because since our elections are in April, it does give the transition lame duck month that the new president and the new executive committee, or the new president can ask for the volunteers, how it had been done, how it was done the very first month, and how it had been in previous boards, was once the new president was elected, then people either said they wanted to be on a board, or the president asked who would like to be on what board, and then made her appointments from there at the May meeting when they took office. Which
Does
doesn't
anybody
leave
else,
us an empty month. with-
does anybody else have comments? Everybody understands what Kathy's concern is. Does anybody else have comments?
There is a statement, though, that just says that you cannot be on the same board for more than a year at a time.
Right,
So that has to be
on the same committee.
on the same committee, just so we all understand that.
You know, that's an interesting point that you made. You know, it seems to me that if you're in the middle of a project and your year is up, it seems to be counterproductive. If that person who's
That's
spearheading that
That's
committee,
true.
and then all of a sudden year's up, off the committee, you know.
You can still be off the
You-
committee and still offer your, and attend the meeting.
Yeah, I suppose you
And make
can.
your
Yeah.
your
I guess
proposal.
you-
Well,
Well,
you, if I am reading this right, you can be reappointed to the committee. It doesn't say you're off,
Okay,
unless you
can be
become an
reappointed.
officer and can't serve on two.
Okay,
So you could
So there's
continue
no-
on in whatever committee you're on today.
Right.
that would be my only concern.
So I tend to like the idea of June, because if there is a new, if, let's say the board does flip over, it does get the new board to sit across from one another for a month, compare some notes, and who wants to serve on what committee could be put up to the table.
Can I ask you a question? Who is on the finance committee right now?
I know I am.
Art,
He told me I was.
Oh, well, if she's on the
Not the
finance.
finance, I'm sorry, not the finance. I think it was facilities.
I don't have it with me,
No, I'm asking a
Here's what this
logical
is.
question.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Here's
Art
who's
would be-
on the finance committee.
Art,
The treasurer,
That's you.
one additional trustee appointed by the president.
Now, who is that
Now,
right now?
at this
he
point,
was
it's Art.
appointed by a president.
Yeah, but-
It says the president, not the new president.
Right.
It says a president, he was appointed. He can serve until it gets reset. I like the idea that she's picking June.
You can't be on the same committee for more than a year at a time.
It-
Correct.
It doesn't,
And
who's
the-
on the
the-
policy
the
committee
committee-
The
right now?
committees
Mark?
were, the
Yes.
committees
Yeah, he's been
last,
on all 3
Before
years.
that, I was the treasurer.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
That's
who's on the
ridiculous.
policy committee right now?
Dr.
I don't
Kelmack
know.
and
Well,
myself.
supposedly Dr. Kelmegan and our president, but our president's our president right now, and our bylaws say that the policy committee consists of two trustees. So right now, the policy committee is short a trustee.
So the way this is written, it doesn't say the president can't be on the policy committee.
No, the
Because the
president
president-
can't hold 2 places on the committee. The
The-
president can't be the member
Okay, you
and the
know,
ex officio.
What you're not hearing is section 1 of the committees and duties under the bylaws, number 4. There shall be a standing committees as follows, which you've heard. Each committee shall be appointed or reset by the president. Each member of the standing committee shall serve 1 year, or should the seat be vacated, until a successor is appointed. So technically, I'm vacating, so until somebody is
No, the
appointed.
seat isn't vacated, the position is vacated. The seat means the seat on the board of trustees. It doesn't mean the position.
This is a seat on the committee. Has nothing to do with the.
Yeah, each member of a standing
Standing
committee shall
committee.
serve, or until the seat be vacated, those successors appointed. I read that to mean committees.
That's
It's under,
committees.
It's under committees and
Article 4,
duties.
committees and duties. So if it is empty, then it needs to be filled when the president fills it.
This doesn't,
This will happen once.
no,
Well,
it won't, because
yes.
that'll happen next year, in
So
July. It'll
I
happen in
tend-
July every year.
No, because we'll know,
I
You're
like,
saying it, you wanna change it to July.
I like the bylaw
June.
provision that she's
June,
putting
I mean.
forth tonight
Okay, and I
to
got,
actually pick June.
well, you know what, it'll come to a vote, and next month,
Estelle is
Do we-
losing her
I'm
mind.
having a fit.
Yeah.
May I speak?
yes, you may.
Okay. The committees that were in place in the end of April continue through May. And in June, the new president assigns the new committees. So whoever was the treasurer last, in April, remains the treasurer until next month. That's the way it's always been done. Maybe you got fouled up a little bit for some reason, but that's the real way it goes. And it does, if it says for a year, it doesn't mean that you can't have 9 months. At the end of April, it starts over again. Do you have them for 2 years or one?
One.
Oh, see, we had 2.
Yeah,
We had them for 2. If you change, it doesn't matter, but the committee stays the same until June. That's all. You're trying to complicate something and it doesn't work.
well, yeah.
Exactly.
So Barbara, I like your idea of defining the month that you make the change.
Definitely.
I think that's a good thing to write into the bylaw.
It should be
Okay,
June.
I
The
think,
library year starts in May. When we did the bylaws, that was the foundation of everything.
it wasn't written in, that's all I know.
Remember when the bylaws where it said the library year, and we were saying, when does the library year begin?
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
remember when it was?
Yeah, it was May.
May. That's my point.
That doesn't mean the committee has to start in May.
Correct.
June.
I like
It
it.
doesn't give the president a chance to
It's June.
figure
A
out,
month
That's
to
right.
figure it out.
well, it'll
No.
take me a month.
You
With
had
this
a month
group.
to figure it out.
Not really, I wasn't a
Well,
president
this is the
until
first
today.
sitting.
The president doesn't take office until May,
Yeah,
Correct.
not in June. You're elected, but you take office in May. In June, you make your committees.
Okay.
There'll be a vote next month, you can vote however you want
Well,
next
do
month.
we- so this suggested bylaw.
This suggested
Does
bylaw
it
will
make
come
sense?
to the way it is.
To do it in June?
It's always been June.
There's no particular advantage to doing it in May, as I see it.
No.
Um,
Can I
It
make
should
a,
start in June. That's
can
it.
I make a motion to bypass our usual 10-day review and we vote on this today?
You may.
I mean, you
It's up to
could,
him.
but the whole purpose of having the review was so that
Right.
people would have an trustees would have an opportunity
They
to
could.
have sufficient time to review the changes, you know, to think about them and how they affect it, rather than it coming up, you know, with 2 days' notice. So-
All right.
So I think that it would be wise to just follow the normal process.
All right.
There's a second motion that concerns the same topic, committees, and it affects 2 of the sections, the policy committee and the facilities committee. The way they read now is that each committee would choose their own president out of the 2 members, and I am suggesting that this is vague with regards to chairmanship, and it could result in a meeting never getting called because nobody's taking charge. And the suggestion is that the president, at the same time as appointing
Yes.
the committee, would also appoint the president of that
Yes.
committee,
The chairperson.
the chairperson of that committee, excuse me. This again would be voted upon next month.
But again, when we talked about, when the 3 of us were talking about it, the reason that we had it this way was so that the committee itself decided who its leader was.
That's very true, except for
So-
I've been on too many committees that there was no chairperson, and the meetings delayed
The
and delayed and
reason
delayed.
that way was so that it wouldn't consolidate the power in the president,
With the power,
so that there would be.
Okay,
because the
again,
president-
I'll-
No, I'm saying, everybody can vote the way they want, but the reason that we kept it that way was
okay,
because the president's already nominating the people of the committee. If the president also nominates a chairman, then that's a whole lot of power in one person's hand.
which it's been in all along anyways.
Well, actually, Mark had us, had our own,
But if the president directs someone to be the committee chairperson,
right,
not the president,
Right.
they can decline it, correct?
Yeah.
yes,
All right, well, so then you're not putting that much power in the president's hand. If they say, no, I don't want to do it, David could do it.
Plus, they
We're
only
on the
have
same
one
committee.
vote
Yeah.
in the committee, so it doesn't matter.
Well, the
Right.
committees don't,
It's mainly for just technical reasons.
The
to get
chairman
these
is the one who
moving.
decides whether or not to have the meeting, so it is a position of
okay.
responsibility.
Okay.
power.
So these bylaws then are presented to the board, so this counts for the notification for the next meeting.
Correct. This is notification for the next meeting.
Okay.
Were there any communications that I'm not aware of?
Just a whole packet full of articles and a couple cards to
Why don't you
pass.
pass it around, because they're pretty darn impressive.
Some of them look the
And I
same,
kept it
there's
clean.
several papers covered the same
Yeah.
things.
Different papers will check out the same articles.
And the one in plastic is the one Barbara likes the best.
Well, because I think it's fantastic. I am so impressed by that article.
Poetry one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any public comments on non-agenda items?
Yes. Okay. I'm sitting, I'm having a baby here, honest to God.
I want to know more about this. How do you do it?
All right, here's the thing. You were elected in the end of April. You
Yes.
took office in May.
Yes.
In May, everything stays as it was in April. No new committees are in place yet. The president makes a list of committees. The president also assigns a two-committee person, one of the people to be the chairman. The president is the ex officio member of every committee. They don't have to go to the meetings, but they are part of the committee. So in fact, it's a three-committee person, committee, yes, with three people. But here's the thing, you're trying to go back and fix things that happened in the past, forget it. You're wasting so much time here trying to recreate something. And if you only want one-year terms, which personally I feel are not long enough, and I'll tell you why. When I got on the board, I didn't know what they were talking about. NSLS, and the acronyms drove me crazy, so I asked for a list. And it's.
Me
We
too.
didn't change the name, we didn't change the
No,
term.
that's not what I'm saying.
They were 1 year under
don't
you
know-
guys.
You don't know much about being a library director when you become a director unless you've had experience. Think about it. So they're talking, and I never knew what the heck they were talking about. So I had enough sense to ask questions. It takes at least 2 years to find out what's going on. And I'm sure those of you that have been in the, you agree. So just calm down, relax, and okay. So the treasurer is still in place.
Doctor, will you take her blood pressure?
This is, you just wasted time, but you need time to know what's going on. Fortunately, they don't do the acronyms like they did before, like the North Suburban Library System. Couldn't they say North Suburban, no, NSLS. What's NSLS? You see, so, you have to learn before you tell me. You've been on for a while now, haven't you learned more?
He's all worried about MERS.
Maybe with good reason. The other thing is, the village has a
I
misconception.
still don't know.
Reaching
It's okay.
across the line.
The village thinks this is a
Thank you.
district library. I've had problems with this my entire time. You have to inform, and I was gonna call DeMarie and tell him, I think it's better if it comes from the library, or maybe you wanna write a letter. We are a public library, we're not a district, there is a huge difference. I don't know if all of you know what the difference is, but I don't know if I saw the village board meeting where he mentioned, and the library, or I saw it in the paper, library district. We're not a district, we're a public library, and it's in our title, it's in our name, so they should be informed. You have a sinking hole here in the parking lot. All right,
It's being
that originally happened when we built the parking lot. I'm afraid there's water underneath. I don't know if they looked into it, or I don't think Claude was here at the time. So there is a very, very severe problem there. And it's been there since we acquired this property and the parking lot in there, yeah. It's something that is not easily fixed, and I don't know if it can be, but we had that since day one, so it's something you should be aware of. The library is also in the TIF district. Do you all know that? You all are part of the TIF that the village set up. Why, I don't know. But they reached over from Ferris and grabbed us. I don't know why. So be on the alert, because I have no idea what their plans are or why they put the library in the TIF. They never discussed it, so.
Was it just extended into the TIF?
We were part of the
Big
TIF.
TIF I'm living in.
How far does the TIF go?
It's not a question of that. The thing is, the TIF is over here and we're here.
You're just
and
an
we're-
addendum to
I
it.
didn't realize it came.
But it's not everything else.
Okay,
It's just us.
just a library.
And excuse me for saying us, it's a habit I can't help.
You can
Okay,
use it, it's
all right.
okay.
And, that's about it. But you don't try and invent the wheel, but give people a chance, like when new board members come on, like, I don't know, are you new, Barbara?
No, no, I've
Okay.
been on for about a year now.
Okay, and you too?
Just a year, yes.
Okay, so
I'm
you know,
new, I'm new.
so you know what I'm talking about, it
Yes.
takes
Yes.
time. And that's why if you shorten things, you don't give people a chance to get familiar, and you are correct.
I'll hit him with that one next time.
No, seriously, I don't know why you changed it to 1 year, and he makes a good point, as far as if you're on it, maybe you just get going.
It was
wasn't-
1
it was a
year.
year,
It
wasn't
always
it?
was a year.
The bylaws we worked with to
Well, then I don't
revise.
know.
It's the term of officers are 2 years, and the
Committees are 1
committee
year.
appointments are.
Well, but I guess what we used to do, we held the committees another year,
Yeah.
but she is correct. And forget about whether it's 9 months or a year, you can't, it doesn't matter. They're appointed in June and serve till the next year. But that is the way it's done, okay? Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Estelle.
Any other comments? If not,
Is the bottom line right now that the only committees that have been reset are the executive committee and the finance committee?
that is,
Yeah, I did
No.
that.
no, the finance committee is not been totally reset.
Right.
Well, at least partially.
The treasure part has been, the treasurer's been reset.
And the executive.
Because you were
Yeah.
treasurer, he is now treasurer, it's the position treasurer is on the committee.
But it doesn't take effect until June, the change.
The member of the committee still remains to be Art. Till
Well,
June.
Until June.
Yeah.
Until-
And he is
until
not the
that meeting.
treasurer
Until
yet.
it gets
Am I to
appointed.
attend that meeting?
Yep. You get reappointed.
Okay.
Oh.
Just confirming.
As treasurer. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Oops.
Do we need an executive session? No, good. Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second?
Do I hear
All in favor?
verbal, all in favor, say aye, please?
Aye.
Thank you.
8:21.
It's